Welcome to South News. Did you know that globally it is estimated that there are more than 100 million children living and working the streets, exposed to abuse, violence, and exploitation? Governments today and individuals are looking closer to this problem. In fact, today's guest, Kaushalya Siriwardana, is the founder of Helping Hands, Inc., a non-for-profit organization looking after the well-being of homeless children. Kaushalya, welcome to South News.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to come and talk about Helping Hands.
Well, we're delighted to have you here at South News. This, of course, is a critical issue that many governments are paying closer attention to, but also individuals like yourself. Talk to us, what is the mission of Helping Hands, Inc.?
Helping Hands, our mission is we are working with the children to provide education, clothing, shelter, and food and medical care. That is our mission, to provide for the homeless and destitute orphan children around the globe. And
when did you start the foundation?
We initiated this and we were established in 2003 in Dallas, Texas, and that's where the headquarters are. But we are a global organization.
What made you go with the idea of starting this foundation? You're from Sri Lanka?
Yes, I'm from Sri Lanka. Actually, the passion started since I was like 9 years of age. I used to, we were studying even though my mother was here, we used to time been back and forth in India and Nepal. When I was in India and when I was at the age of 9 years of age, I used to steal food from my mother's kitchen and used to run down the alleys and everything and go and distribute the food. One day my mother walked in the house, I have given all my clothes except the one I was wearing. So this passion always was there, and I couldn't understand that time, why they were like, the kids were on the street, no food, no clothes proper, and they're in boxes living, and it just that grew up with me, and I always thought that I want to do something, I want to make a difference, and when I came to say it, I never forgot. I just had to continue, do something, and just make something solid though,
Now, your organization works very closely. It's an NGO that works closely with the UN. How are you involved with the United Nations?
United Nations, actually, first I approached our ambassador, Sri Lankan ambassador, Dr. Palita Kohana. He is the first one who helped me, became the first patron. Our collaboration is that we are asking each of the ambassadors to the UN to be a patron by becoming a patron to be a part of the global center and to be part of Helping Hands with their support.
Talk to us now that you mentioned the Global Center. I know that this is an initiative that you've been working for several months in, and there are several folks that are involved, including some ambassadors. Talk to us about that initiative.
Well, actually, the Global Center, we are trying to build a global center. We have already secured the land. It's on 1,200 acres, and it's in Texas, 30 minutes away from Dallas, Texas, and we'll be building 200 small 500 square buildings to accommodate 200 representatives from each nation. And also this is actually educational and recreational, and also to sustain, it's actually to environmental healthy, green, all that is in there, including the 200 nations and the educational programs, all the educational programs, then the organic gardening, and we have much more, including a film studio, so that we can give the communities who cannot. There are a lot of young youth that who have idea, who wants to make a film, but they don't know how and all that. But so Hollywood Pros, there's much collaboration with Hollywood for us, for Helping Hands. So they have offered to send their pros to teach the young youth how to put a production, how to put a documentary together, on that. So this Global Center will give a lot of educational programs. All these programs are designed to give completely free for the children.
Now, Kaushalya, how will you reach out to the homeless children? Are these children, are we talking about homelessness in the U.S. or children that need this type of an environment outside of the U.S.? How will you be doing the reach out globally?
Global centers, actually the Global Center in Texas, which will provide the global cultural education to the children here in the United States. And of course, we have other programs that we have set up for food, clothing, for a natural disaster will be there. But around the globe, we are building global chapters that will provide food, clothing, and shelter for the homeless children.
How will you be doing the global chapters? Who will be involved, or who can be involved if this is something that other volunteers would actually like to be involved in?
Yes, if you're asking me how we are setting it up, we are setting it up by, we are asking our global, the ambassadors to the mission. We are seeking their assistance in referring us somebody locally from their country to set up with the local communities and to identify a piece of land, which we have already obtained in several countries, for 1 to 5 acres. So then we go in and we set up the global chapter, and we start with somewhere from 35 to 50 children. That is our mission, to open this center and to accommodate the children and provide them all the mainly a lot of compassion and kindness, and give food, clothing, and shelter, education, and not to just drop them after high school, but to provide them continued education if they want to further their education by attending to a university or to to be whatever the career they choose. So we are trying to contact many universities around the globe and asking them to provide scholarships, so that way we can provide them that for the children. And as far as the volunteers you asked, yes, we are asking on our website that around the globe we are asking for volunteers to come forward and volunteer for these.
In fact, yesterday was actually a volunteer day, celebrating volunteerism at the United Nations.
Yes.
And so what if someone wants to volunteer, exactly, is there a criteria? Where should they access, or how can they have an access to your
actually, it is, if they go to hhcharity.org, our website, and they can enter their name, send their information. And yes, of course, we do train them, because they just cannot, because certain, being a volunteer, there are different, many fields. Whether you can go to an emergency situation, you can go to so they have to go through certain training, and so it's a couple of days. It's designed for each which area they're going to volunteer, so that we can get them ready for the area that they're going to volunteer, because it's very difficult. You cannot just come and volunteer. It's easy if you're, even to cut the grass, you have to know, the techniques, and you have to be, taking precautions and things like that. So we want to be able to train them so that they will be efficiently, be able to work on the area they are trying to work.
Now, how does Helping Hands Inc. does their outreach, especially in trying to engage the children in the streets, or pretty much the homeless children? What is the outreach? Meaning
how we are contacting them. What we are doing is we are contacting the local communities, the head of the certain villages, and then we get them to identify the homeless children. The children who are there are some parents, single parents, who are in boxes, living in boxes, and there's mud homes and things like that, who cannot provide the education. So that's how we identify through their communities. And because we are a non-religious, non-political, non-profit organization, whenever we go to those countries, our main reason is we are there to help, not to provide anything, but to provide the main things. What we say is food, education, clothing, and shelter, and provide them a lot of kind compassion, and keep them in their culture. And they all come from their own cultural background, and they have their whatever the belief that they have. But when we provide the education to the children, and we give them the tools, once they get older, and they have all the tools to see what they want to choose. So we are not there to give them what I believe in. I am only, because we all know we all need food, clothing, shelter, education, and a healthy environment, so that we can live in kind, and a lot of peace will happen. So we never go there and provide the way I think. So that's my one of the main things, that when I went travel around the globe and I talked to many communities, they were very open arms for me, saying that this is a great thing that you are not coming and giving all this. And one of the gentlemen was saying, so you are not taking advantage out of our homeless children? So I said, no, because we don't want to do that. What we say, we must provide. And because every country have their own culture and their own way of thinking, and you have to respect that and to keep them in that. That is a must thing. I think that we should, as a nation, we all can work together when we are not, trying to impose the way you think and I think and, trying to make it one. No, we all need the other basic things we all need. So I think that is one of the main things that we should respect. So.
Now, one of the tools you very well used with Helping Hands, Inc., in reaching out are celebrities. Talk to us a little bit about one of your strategies in marketing. You've certainly been working with some celebrities in reaching out, and more celebrities are getting involved with the issue of children and homeless children. In fact,
Yes.
just earlier this month, David Beckham was in the Philippines working with some children and doing some reach out to homeless children. And you have certainly done some work there with some celebrities as well.
Yes, first I started, I must mention this to you, a long time ago. It was a few years ago when I first started thinking of Sachin Tendulkar. He is a globally known cricketer. So I wrote to him from my own handwriting and didn't type or anything. I just said the story like as it is. I have donated all my life savings and I have closed down my shop and I sold all the paintings. That's like hundreds of dollars worth of things for $5, $6, like that, standing in a flea market just to maintain the work. So when he got this letter, in a week's time I got a call from Mumbai, and then his manager was on the phone and asked me if I can come the following week. They gave me 4 days, so I flew down there immediately. And to make the long story short, I was sitting down with him. He came to see me. First thing he told me is, I get, Kaushalya, thousands of letters, but I really liked when I looked at you, you wrote to me, in your handwriting, and opening this, and you have donated all your life savings. I just told exactly everything, like an open book. So he said, I want to help you. So that's the first celebrity that joined us and supported me, and he's giving us the funding for to build the center in 2 centers actually in India.
And what is the reaction usually when you partner with celebrities? How important is it with causes like yours, and what has been the reaction?
It's actually, I reach out to them because for one thing, the majority of them, even though they stay like that, they have such a love to the cause. Not really, they don't come out, people doesn't know, but once once you talk to them, you know that they love this cause, especially to help children, in this stress situation, and especially orphan children and things like that, and even for medicine and things like that for the children. So when we talk about the cause, and then they ask me, how did you start this? That's a main thing. They want to see how I did this, how long, and when they listen to my story, how I did this. And in fact, I want to say this story. I gave my one and only car 1 whole year for a family of, they got married. Of course, they had 2 kids, and they came up and talked to me. They only had, they didn't have any car. The only car they lost, and they were about to lose both their jobs because they had. And I gave them my car to them for 1 year, and then I walked around to get to my meetings and things like that, and I got lifts here and there. But coming back, yes, then I asked Mario Lopez. I reached out to him, and he is supporting me, and he's also coming in February to Texas to help me. And there are various and many other celebrities from Disney. Disney actors, not Disney, but Disney actors. And then, of course, I have great sponsors like American Airlines, the Caribbean Employee Resource Group. They are very worldwide actually. And then Acme Break, and Disney Radio, and all that. So
you certainly have great supporters who are definitely helping Helping Hands
yes,
to reach their goals. Well, Kaushalya, thank you very much for coming to South News and for sharing this information about your foundation, which is so much needed, especially with the number of children that are homeless around the world. And so we wish you much luck with what you're doing. And again, thank you very much for coming to South News.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And we wish you best of luck with the Global Center.
Yes, thank you. And about the Global Center, the website, we must make sure that we say the website.
And the website is
hhcharity.org. Please come and visit, and everybody out there, you can keep the children out there in your hearts and support us. That's my request from everybody. And thank you very much for having me and giving me this wonderful opportunity to come and talk to everybody.
Thank you, Kausha. Thank you very much for tuning into South South News. Until next time.